If you're a website freelancer who always busy but still feel financially unstable, this video is for you. If you've ever had months where clients just kept coming in, projects were stacked, your calendar was full, but yet your income still felt unpredictable, then you're not alone. I lived in that cycle for years. I kept telling myself the same story most freelancers do, that the market was oversaturated, that there were too many developers, that templates ruined everything. Those excuses felt comforting because they made the instability feel external, like it wasn't something that I was doing wrong. But here's the uncomfortable truth I discovered after reviewing 1,462 Upwork contracts across more than 15 years. Websites were not the problem. The way I was selling them was. In this video, I am going to break down how website work alone generated $370,766 for me on Upwork, not through viral win or massive client, but through one subtle positioning shift that turned unstable freelance income into something that started compounding. If you want to understand why your income keeps resetting, no matter how hard you work, and how to turn website projects into long-term trust-based revenue instead of one-off job, then stay with me. For a long time, a website confused me. I was building them constantly. Clients were hiring me. The work was steady. And yet, my income felt unstable. Some months were strong, other months felt oddly flat, even when I was just as busy. At the time, I blamed the market. That explanation felt comforting, because if the problem was outside my control, then the instability wasn't my fault. But when I finally sat down and analyzed my own career, the data told me a very different story. The problem was not the website. The problem was how I was positioning them. From website development alone, I learned $370,766 not from massive clients, not from a viral success story, and not from doing anything extraordinary. It came from one quiet shift that caused my income to start compounding instead of resetting. Today, I want to walk you through that shift in detail because it completely changed how I think about freelance services, pricing, and long-term stability. Section 1, why website felt like a dead end, but was not. Early in my career, website felt like a race to the bottom. Every proposal sounded the same. Number of pages, design style, platform used, timeline, client compared, price, speed, feature, not impact, not income, and not long-term value. And when you sell websites and deliverables, you invite comparison. I wasn't competing on strategy. I was competing on execution, and execution is always replaceable. That's why the work came in, but never stacked. Each project ended cleanly. Each client disappeared. Each month reset to zero. It wasn't burnout that scared me. It was the feeling that I could work endlessly and still be starting over every month. Section 2, the false belief about saturation. Here's the belief that quality stalled most freelancers. If a skill is common, it can't be profitable. That belief kept me stuck in for years. But when I zoomed out and looked at the actual business behavior, it didn't hold up. Businesses did not stop needing websites, and they didn't reduce budget for them. They didn't move on from them. What changed was how freelancers positioned them. Saturation did not kill demand. Poor positioning does. The market wasn't rejecting websites, it was rejecting commoditized explanation of them. Section 3, the moment I stopped selling websites. The turning point did not come from learning a new tool. It came from changing one sentence. I stopped saying, I build websites. and started saying, I help businesses use websites to reduce confusion and increase trust. That sounds subtle, but it changed everything. Instead of starting conversation with pages, layouts, design preferences, I started with business goals, customer confusion, conversion gaps, and the client response shift immediately. The question changed, the tone changed, the urgency changed. Not because I sold harder, but because I framed the service closer to what businesses actually care about. Section 4, what businesses are really buying. No business wakes up wanting a website. They wake up wanting more leads, more credibility, fewer explanation, and less friction. The website is just the container. Once I align my service language with the outcome instead of deliverables, resistance dropped. Clients stopped asking, how much is the site? And started asking, what do you recommend we do first? That is the moment pricing became collaborative instead of defensive. Section 5, what the data showed after shift. When I compared my website project before and after this repositioning, the difference was undeniable. And after the shift, proposal volume dropped, average contract value increased, repeat clients increased, scope expanded naturally. One website project often turned into animation, SEO, content, training, ongoing maintenance. Websites stopped being a job, they became a relationship entry point. That's when income stopped resetting and started accumulating. Section 6, why websites create compounding when positioned correctly. Websites sit at the center of a business ecosystem. Everything flows through them. Ads, email, sales call, onboarding, training. When you control that center, you don't need to upsell. Follow-up work becomes inevitable. Clients come back because messaging changes, products evolve, team grow, system breaks. This isn't aggressive selling, it's structural reality. And that's why website income didn't spike, it layered. Section 7, why this works even if you're not elite. This shift had nothing to do with being the best developer in the room. It worked because businesses always need websites. Website reduce risk. Website anchors credibility. Clients are anxious about their online presence. Whoever controls the website controls first impression, trust, and flow. That makes website fundamentally different from surface-level services. They are infrastructure, not decoration. Section 8, trust, the invisible multiplier. When a client hires you for their website, they hand you their brand, their messaging, their reputation. That level of access accelerates trust. Once trust is established, clients stop shopping. They stop negotiating aggressively and they start asking for advice. And advice is where premium positioning lives. Section 9, why website work scales without chaos. Another reason website became the backbone of my business is scalability. Site workflow can be standardized, documented, delegated. Over time, you get faster, you reduce mistakes, you improve margins. Unlike on-off creative work, website systems improve with repetition that creates stability, control, longevity. Section 10, what 370,766 really represents. That number isn't impressive because it's big. It's impressive because of how it was earned. Quietly, predictability, and across years. No viral spike, no risky pivot, and no burnout cycle. Just alignment with what businesses consistently need. Section 11, the psychology of safe service. Here's something freelancers rarely talk about. Clients pay more for services that feel safe. Websites feel safe because they're visible, they're tangible, they are reviewable. Clients can point to them, share them, adjust them. That lowers anxiety. Lower anxiety increases the budget. Section 12, why deliverable thinking kills growth. Deliverable end. System continues. The moment I stop thinking in the deliverable and start thinking in infrastructure, my entire business stabilizes. Infrastructure doesn't get replaced quickly. It gets maintained. That's why website clients stay longer. Section 13, applying this if you're not a developer. This lesson isn't about websites, it's about positioning. Ask yourself, does my service sit near revenue? Does it reduce uncertainty? Does it create follow-up work? If yes, it can be compound. If not, it's reset. Section 14, the quiet truth about long-term freelancing. Sustainable freelance careers are not built on excitement. They are built on reliability, trust, infrastructure. Website checked all three. That's why they are quietly dominating my income. I didn't win by being louder, and I didn't win by chasing trends. I won by aligning my services with how businesses actually function. That's what 370,766 from website really represents. This video is part of a larger series where I break down my real freelance data, not advice culture. In the next video, I will show you how having fewer clients actually made me more money and how that shift reduced stress instead of increasing it. If this kind of clarity helps you think differently about freelancing, then subscribe, because this channel isn't about growth hacks. It's about building something that lasts. Until next time, be freelantastic.